If you have a lumbar disc bulge, this video is gonna be for you. If you've been struggling to get a grip on your discomfort, your pain, your symptoms, when you're exercising, when you're trying to build strength, build resilience back in the body, but due to your bulge, you're not sure what you should do. Well, today we're kicking off one of, I think, is going to be the best series that I have in any of my videos here on YouTube, and it's talking all things exercise for disc bulges, but not just disc bulges. If you have a herniation as well, this information is going to go just as well with your situation as it does with a disc bulge. So if that is you, make sure you stay around, make sure you subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for every video in this series. And this is your first time here, I've got a really cool gift for you to take home with you today that will help you massively with this entire series. You can get it at fitnessforbackpain.com/pain-free training. I break down some of the points I'm talking about today, as well as a free 7-day band and bodyweight workout that is safe for you and your disc bulge or disc herniation that you can take home and put to use and start building strength smarter. So if you don't know who I am, my name is William. I run fitnessforbackpain.com, where I teach you how to overcome chronic, persistent low back pain by mastering your movements, improving your mindset, and building smarter strength. And the first and most important rule you've got to follow if you have a disc bulge or disc herniation trying to get into exercise is you have to do a strategic warm-up. You're trying to get the body out of fight or flight response. Typically, if you have been diagnosed with a disc bulge or any kind of disc injury, you're kind of scared, right? They tell you to be careful. They tell you don't flex your spine or don't extend your spine and don't bend over excessively. They tell you these things, which builds up fear around movement. So heaven forbid you actually go into a gym and try to exercise with a disc bulge, where you're gonna go in with a little bit of fear, a little bit of anxiety. And what that causes is your body to kind of go in a little bit tenser or stiffer than it should. So what we try to do with a strategic warm-up is get the body to relax. And there's some things that you can do both mentally and physically during the warm-up that's gonna help you with this. So during your dynamic warm-up, what I want you to think about are two specific things. One is visualizing a different story, a different outcome than what you're used to. The second thing is actually working on shutting down your body and trying to relax the muscles that are feeling tense. Now, your warm-up is gonna look different for everybody because everyone responds to different types of warm-ups. So a fast-paced walk works really good with me. 10, 15 minutes on a spin bike does really good with me. I can actually spend more time relaxing my lower back, relaxing my hips and my legs while I'm warming up. So before I go into my workout, I've spent about 10 to 15 minutes getting my body to shut down. Now, the visualization aspect of this is what I want you to do is if you're used to fear, if you're used to anxiety and being scared of hurting yourself, you've got to start telling yourself a different story. And one of the best things to do and the best times to do this is one, leading up to actually going to the gym, but while you're on your bike, while you're on your treadmill, doing whatever that you do for your warm-up, you're actually telling yourself, hey, this is gonna be a good workout. I'm gonna do things differently today. I'm gonna have more control. I'm gonna be less fearful. I'm gonna be less anxious about what I'm doing. And I'm confident that my body is strong. And if you tell yourself and you work yourself into this different type of mindset, and start telling yourself a different type of story, your warm-up is gonna be more powerful because you're getting out of that fight or flight response and focusing on calming that central nervous system down, calming the body's protection mechanism down so that it can be ready for the actual workout. So the second rule is my favorite because we're getting into the nitty-gritty of actual exercise. So if you have a disc herniation, disc bulge specifically, this second rule is gonna speak specifically to you in how you approach exercise. Your main focus needs to be around all-inclusive type of movement. You'll hear the word functional movements, or sometimes it's full body exercises, not necessarily workouts, but exercises, things that require the entire body to be active and moving and engaged during the workout. A big issue that I see with people with disc bulges and exercise and trying to navigate symptoms is they are kind of stuck in their more traditional way of strength training. And typically, if they're from my generation or generations before me really, is they are wanting to do more bodybuilding type of training, right? They want to split it up into muscle groups. They want to have a bicep day, a tricep tricep day, which is all doable. I'm not saying you can't do that, but if you're highly sensitive, if you're in pain trying to find ways to get into the gym to relieve some of this pain, you have to kind of bob and weave with how you're feeling. Now, I personally enjoy these all-inclusive type of exercises because it spreads out the forces in your body, right? You're not just sitting down and trying to dumbbell press 145 pounds, or you're not having, 300 pounds on your back and you're trying to squat it or do a terrible form on a box squat with weight on your spine. Those things, for someone who has a disc bulge, I would stay away from those until you can build more resilience in the body and actually more confidence in yourself and more stability around the spine. So to name a few exercises that I would include in this kind of all-inclusive or more functional type of full body engagement exercises are like standing presses. That could be single arm presses, it could be dumbbell presses, it could be barbell presses. Those do well because your entire body, the force is kind of being spread out throughout your whole body compared to sitting and doing some kind of presses. The other thing that I would probably try to do is more single leg work, right? There's lots of variations of lunges, like rear foot elevated lunge. There's a single reverse lunge. There's a static reverse lunge or dumbbell static lunges. There's a lot of exercises that involve the lower body that doesn't require you to actually load the body up a whole lot to get an effective workout from it. And last but not least, when it comes to the 3 rules to exercising with a disc bulge, disc herniation, or any kind of disc injury is taking the time to deload your body and mind. This is your recovery. There's an intra workout recovery and a post workout recovery. I'm speaking more towards the post workout recovery. And I'm not talking about like days after, which is important, but I mean right after, right? During the workouts, you're actually doing you're operating in what's called your sympathetic nervous system. We're trying to get ourselves out of that and back into the parasympathetic nervous system, where that's where our body does well with. Now, a few things that I like to do is look at it from a mental standpoint and look at it from an actual physical point of view. From the mental standpoint or point of view, I like to do a lot of deep breathing, right? If it's a back injury, if it's a disc bulge situation, I'll tend to kind of prop my feet up, put my feet up on a bench or a ball or a box or something like that, get my hips in a good comfortable position, make sure my back is all comfortable, and I will take a good 5 to 8 minutes and just focus on breathing into these areas that I typically have pain with. If you have a history of low back pain, it's gonna be around the area where you have been told you have a rupture or a disc herniation or a disc bulge in the situation. So you're trying to get your body to just relax. Again, we talked about that protection mechanism. The deep breathing, the recovery type of breathing after your workout will kind of settle everything down. It'll bring your central nervous system out of that sympathetic nervous system and back into that more of that chill mode. And the deep breathing for the mental side of your post-workout recovery is something that I do all the time. Now, the second part of that is specific to disc bulges and herniations. Now, what I have seen the most success with clients with disc bulge situations is getting some kind of decompression work after your workout. Let's say you've done your single leg squats, you've done your lunges, your reverse lunges, you've done all the things that are safe and comfortable for you. Well, you've still added some type of weight or stress to the spine, so there's gonna be some kind of compressive forces on what you're doing. Not to fear that, there's nothing wrong with compressing the spine. It's a very robust, strong system, but you could do really well with some post-workout decompression. Now, there's lots of ways you can do decompression. I don't suggest you use an inversion table. That's probably the easiest, quickest, most well-known way of doing it, but they can become addicting and you're gonna use them for the wrong reasons. So I will share a video that I did on, it was either 3 or 4 alternatives to the inversion table. I'll share that video here on the screen. You can click that up and go into the description box and get the link there. There's also a few quick ones I'll just rattle off. One of them is being the park bench decompression strategy. If you have a park bench, you can do it that way. If you have the back of a couch, a chair, a banister, or even a barbell hanging on a rack, just like you see me here on this rack here, you can use that barbell stretched out over your J-cups and decompress the spine very gently, very controlled, not putting your full body weight onto your shoulders and hands, but being able to grade it to fit your specific need. Don't think more aggressive, the better. Think gentle, think deep breathing, relaxing, bringing your mind out of, again, that fight or flight, that parasympathetic or that sympathetic nervous system, and getting it to calm down and relax and get a little bit of space. There's another variation of decompressing the spine when you're on your back. Typically, I'll be on my flat back and I'll have my knees bent at 90 degrees roughly, and I'm gonna take my hands, I'm gonna place them in almost like in the pit of my hip, right where my hip flexor would be. And from there, I'm just trying to relax, straighten my spine out, get my chin tucked, everything's nice and aligned. And I'm just gonna gently push down towards my heels. So all I'm doing is I'm creating a little bit of space with my hands and pushing my lower body away from my upper body. Very simple, very gentle. You don't have to be aggressive with it. Again, dial it up and dial it back as far as what you feel comfortable doing. But the key thing is staying relaxed. You have to be able to do it gentle enough so that your body doesn't freak out and spasm while you're doing this, especially if you have a disc bulge or herniation situation. Now, the third way I like to use decompression post-workout for disc bulges, herniation situations is gentle hanging. Now, a lot of times you'll see people suggest, hey, just grab onto the bar and hang from it. Well, if you're 200 pounds, 125 pounds, or even 180 pounds, that's a lot of load on that area. It's a lot of load on your shoulders if you have bad shoulders, and it could be a lot of pulling and separation in that lower back that you're just not ready for. Right? Because if you're watching this and you're super sensitive, you're super irritated in this disc bulge area, you got to be mindful of that. So what I try to do is I'll have a bar that I'll hang from, but I'm trying to get into a position where I can have my hips at 90, if not close to 90. This is going to take some of the load off of how much is pulling at that sensitive area. Take me, for example, who ruptured my L5-S1. I didn't grow back a new disc. I didn't have an artificial disc put in there. So I have to be mindful of what I'm doing. Yes, I believe my spine is strong and robust and resilient, especially after years of training smarter, like what I'm trying to teach you here to do now. And now I can live pain-free, which is what I'm trying to hope and pray that you can get to that point as well through these strategies. But I have to be mindful of what I do. So you have to take every step that you take needs to be for your specific situation and let your discomfort kind of be your guide. But one rule that, again, you can follow is not just hanging from a bar, but bringing that hip into more closer to that 90-degree angle so that you can take less load off of your lower back and you get more of a gentle pull than an aggressive one. Now, the fourth favorite way of getting some gentle decompression post-workout to help relax myself, especially if you have a disc bulge or herniation, is to have more what I call tummy time. Sounds kind of lame, sounds kind of dorky, but if you're inflamed, if you are sensitive, if you are having any kind of post-exercise symptoms, this is one of the best things that you can do, whether you're in the gym post-workout or just on your off time at home. Spending more time on your stomach in a comfortable position can work wonders for you, especially if you have any kind of disc bulge. Now, a strategy that I like to use when it comes to this is I'll find an area where I feel comfortable, knowing no kids are jumping on you, dogs are jumping on you, and I'm gonna spend some time just flat on my face on my stomach. One thing that I will change, if I'm going to change it, is I will take a pillow and I'll slide it under my hips. What this is gonna do is take that lower back out of so much extension. Even when you're on your stomach, you're gonna have some level of extension going on. So putting that pillow under your pelvis is gonna help get you out of that extension and give you a little bit more of a relieving position. From there, if you need to go more aggressive with your extension, if you're feeling you need to just kind of take it to a different level, you can start stacking your chins up and getting into a more of a, what I hate to call, but it's that cobra pose type of look. The McKenzie method arena is what you're kind of messing with, but basically getting more gentle extension rather than going from being flat on your face and your stomach, even with a pillow, and then trying to crank yourself into overextension. Try to stay away from that. We don't need to do that. That's not what this is here for. It's just for decompression measures. It's for relaxation post-workout measures, and that's it. Keep it simple. So that is it. That is my 3 rules to exercising with a disc bulge injury or disc herniation situation. You're trying to get back into the gym, get out of pain, and stay away from surgery and injections and things like that that just don't work. There's a more natural way of doing it. And don't forget, if you are pumped about this series, if you yourself have a disc bulge, there are lots of videos in this series. But before you go any further, make sure you grab that free guide, because it was designed specifically for this series and you. You can get that at fitnessforbackpain.com/pain-free training. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'm pumped to unpack this series with you, and I'll see you on the next episode.